NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
But if you're a sports fan, if you build the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas, no matter where you stay, you're going to want to come and see it. All these wow experiences, these wow locations where just watching people the first time they walk out and they see the venue, a stadium swim, I see the smile on their face and they immediately reach for their phone. That gives me validation that we did something the right way.
This is Brylan Bentley, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
So we are so thankful to have some time from Derek Stevens and Derek, your properties. I want to first congratulate you on the success that you've been able to attain, but the leap that you made during an uncertain time in American history during the pandemic, you had to be a little nervous as you cautiously started the projects that you had in those three properties.
Well, yeah, I guess now it's easy to look at what it was like to open up Circa during a pandemic, but one thing people got to remember is the first step of building Circa was buying the Las Vegas club. That was the first of 9 real estate transactions that sit on the land that Circa sits on today. And that first transaction happened in August of 2015.
Oh, wow.
So over the course of the next 2 years, we were able to purchase a handful of other businesses from Mermaid's slot casino to an office building, a little parking garage, the Glitter Gulch, couple of other little things, and then we were able to put this real estate assemblage together, which we only really finalized really at the beginning of 2018. So we were in the process of design. We began construction at the end of 2018, and then we went in with a goal of opening up New Year's Eve of 2020. Well, obviously March of 2020, the world changed, and what happened was our construction crew said, "Okay, you got 2 choices. One, you could back down right now." Now realize we had already close to topped off the building at this point in time.
Right.
So it's not as if it was that easy to just say, okay, let's hold back right now. In March of 2020, we were already working on planning of a grand opening and all this type of stuff. People had been hired and such. They said either you can put a pause on it or we have an option for you. We can accelerate construction. The reason why we're opening in December is because of all the noise restrictions. We can only work 8 hours a day because of all the hotel rooms and all the housing and apartments around downtown. Now that everything's closed, and because in the state of Nevada, the governor at that time declared construction essential, we were now able to work 24 hours a day. Now realize there were some still restrictions. You could have only so many people in a construction elevator, all that type of stuff. But we went from working 8 hours a day to 24. And the next thing you know, we were able to open up in October of 2020. So we opened up about 10 weeks early. So we said, okay, let's go ahead with that. Our big bet was we thought that, a pandemic is not going to last for 3 years. And that was the big bet we took, and we opened. And boy, when we opened, we got lucky because there were a lot of people that had a lot of money in their pocket, and they kind of thought that Vegas was a great place to go. It was a little less crowded than normal, but it was a great place to go. And obviously, I think depending upon where you live, people interpreted the pandemic a little bit different. If you were from New York or California, maybe you looked at things a little bit differently. Our bread and butter is more the Midwest and the Mountain West, and they didn't view the pandemic as a reason to stay home locked up in a basement. So we've been sold out every weekend since we opened. So it was an interesting time. I'm sorry it's such a long answer to that question, but that's what happened.
No, but that's the real story. And when you think about the three properties that you own, Circa, the D, and the Golden Gate, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost feels like those properties are designed to give a tip of the cap to the Vegas of yesterday, but also attract a modern audience. Does that fit? Am I on track there?
You are absolutely on track. That's exactly what we wanted to do. When I first came to Vegas, my first investment was the Golden Gate, and that's the oldest building in Vegas. It was built, 1906. The address is 1 Fremont Street.
Wow.
And I think that when I had the ability to purchase that in 2006, I felt that there was a little bit of a community responsibility to really treat the Golden Gate with some white gloves and make sure that we revered the history that the Golden Gate had. A lot of people in Las Vegas broke in at the Golden Gate, whether it's a dealer or a bartender or hotelier. We felt it was important for us to remember the history of the Golden Gate. And what we tried to do is as we expanded and provided some new products, some new things, we still wanted to respect and revere the history of the Golden Gate. And that's really kind of traveled through like my brother and my design processes over the years. We kind of tried to do that when we bought Fitzgerald's and turned that into the D Las Vegas. And then, in our first ground up casino was Circa Las Vegas. And we really tried to revere the history of Las Vegas as an entire destination when we designed Circa.
I'm going to backtrack just a little bit with you. How did you get involved in investments of this nature?
I'm originally from Detroit, and I've got a business in Detroit. Still do. We make parts for cars, and I just wanted to diversify a bit. So I always loved Las Vegas. I'd come out to Vegas for work, conventions. I also came out for a lot of sporting events. I'm a big sports fan. I really never missed a big fight back in the 90s and 2000s. So there were elements of Las Vegas that I really enjoyed. And then from a business perspective, I enjoyed moving my investment portfolio to Nevada, as Nevada is one of the few states with no income tax. So I felt I was able to grow my business a little bit quicker because of headquartered in a state without an income tax. So that was a pretty significant element to the decision to invest and move to Las Vegas.
Well, I think too that the growth and popularity of a property like Circa, I think it's a testament to the time and energy that you put into that product. But where did the vision from that come from? Because obviously you took over the other two properties and reinvented them, but your sports fandom had to come into play whenever you were putting that property together.
Oh yeah, the thought process of Circa, I would say the building blocks of creativity and design all occurred over multiple events over the years. Events that happen when I take a trips to Vegas or trips in different areas of the country. I had always thought that sports, when I was a kid, I'd come out to Vegas and I would see, the sports book at Caesar's Palace or the sports book at the Las Vegas Hilton at the time. I remember walking into these places and thinking to myself, my God, I'm in the greatest place on earth type of thing. And I had that wow moment. And I felt over the, let's say from calendar year 2000 to 2020, sports fans weren't necessarily who people were going after. I guess you could say maybe some accountants kind of thought that sports books didn't generate as much revenue per square foot as, maybe a celebrity restaurant or a slots floor. But I always felt that sports fans were a pretty trusty and loyal group. I thought sports was not trendy. I did not want to do something that trended. I wanted to do something that had generational appeal. I love seeing people talk to their parents, their grandparents, their kids about talking about a game or a rodeo event from 40 years ago, and I want to design something that could pass the test of time. So when we came up with the concept, I thought, whether someone stays at our property or not, people are very loyal to their hotel, their casino host. Maybe they're going to stay at Wynn. Maybe they're going to stay at Tahiti Village. Maybe they're going to stay at the Flamingo. Maybe they're going to stay at Aria. Who knows? But if you're a sports fan, if you build the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas, no matter where you stay, you're going to want to come and see it. So that was a lot of our design and thought process was, create the best of some of these things. When we were designing the pool at Circa, we said there's no use of the P word. Can't use the word pool. We're building something new. We're building, something named Stadium Swim. We're not looking to build the best pool in downtown Las Vegas or the best pool in all of Las Vegas. We're trying to build something different and spectacular and something that people will fly to, whether you're living in Jacksonville or Dallas or Cheyenne or San Diego. You're going to want to come out to Stadium Swim. We're trying to create something that's the best in class. We're trying to create our own class. It's not a pool. It's an outdoor aqua theater filled with music and gambling and a 143-foot screen and all these crazy things you don't get to see at Main Street USA. And we're going to be open 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even in the winter, it just means the water temperature goes up to 100 degrees. We wanted to do something that no one's ever seen before. I always wondered why Las Vegas pools shut down in November. I never got it. You can go to Aspen and the pools are open in January. So why the hell can't our bodies of water not turn into the largest hot tub parties anywhere in the world? So that's kind of what we did. We wanted to create all these wow experiences, these wow locations where you walk into Stadium Swim, and the first thing people do is they pull out their phone. I sat up there for hours just watching people the first time they walk out and they see the venue at Stadium Swim. I see the smile on their face, and they immediately reach for their phone. That gives me validation that we did something the right way.
Well, speaking of wow factor, I mean, this is going to be year number 40 for the National Finals Rodeo, and that rodeo continues to turn heads. But I want to know why you personally and your group of properties got involved with the National Finals Rodeo.
Well, I got involved in NFR back, I'd say 15 years ago as a fan. I was not someone that knew much about rodeo. But I was convinced by some friends and some business associates to go to NFR. And from the first event I ever walked, first time I ever walked into NFR, I was just blown away. I was blown away by each of the 7 events. I was blown away by the history. I was blown away by the patriotism. I was amazed at how everybody gets there early. Everybody stands up for the national anthem. And I became an immediate fan. I subsequently developed relationships with a handful of people involved, one way or another. And when we had an opportunity, oh boy, this might be 10 years ago or so, we had an opportunity to sponsor a family of the Wright brothers. We did, and boy, were we into it! It was something that we really went all in on at the Las Vegas, the wild ride of the night, and all the Wright brothers. We just had a great time, and to me, it also showed it was great business. Subsequently, as we were building Circa, we had said, we want to continue to upgrade our involvement. And then when we had the opportunity to become the sponsor for the steer wrestling event, we jumped at that. Now we love having the steer wrestlers staying here at Circa and doing a lot of special things with them. It's been just terrific business for us. It's probably the most fun time of year for myself and my team. We just love it.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. It's that time of year. It's time for Vegas. Finding your custom NFR experience can start now. This resource makes your NFR planning so much easier. At nfrexperience.com/stay your way, you can shop for the hotel that best fits your plans. You can find information on viewing parties, concerts, price, transportation, location, and so much more, all in one place. Don't waste time searching for your NFR experience. We have you covered. Go to nfrexperience.com/stay your way. It's time for Vegas. Stay your way.
And this year, you're also adding the bullfighters only freestyling downtown.
Yeah, that's going to be something. I don't know exactly what to expect, but when I heard there's going to be 30 bulls out of our downtown Las Vegas event center where we do a watch party for free every single night of the NFR. Yeah, we're going to put 30 bulls out there. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I heard it draws a hell of a crowd.
It does draw a crowd. Kind of like Barry's does, because I do want you to highlight that restaurant specifically, because Andy and I personally are both huge fans of that restaurant and the experience you can receive here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. It's not just myself as a casino owner or hotel owner that's excited about NFR. We kind of view Circa as a special place from a culinary perspective. We don't own any of the restaurants. I didn't want to own the restaurants. I felt there were too many good restaurateur owners out there. So all the restaurants at Circa are owned by the owner-operators. And it goes anywhere from Victory Burger and Wing Company to 8 East, to Saginaw's Delicatessen, to Project Barbecue, to Barry's Downtown Prime. I think a lot of the people that stay with us over the 10 days, they've had the opportunity to experience all of them. Obviously, Barry's Downtown Prime is a hot location for rodeo fans. Really, probably the most popular, hottest, steakhouse in all of Las Vegas, and it's been like that since it opened. So it's a pretty great destination.
Well, it has some serious soul too, because we were fortunate enough to go there when you guys first opened up, and when they talked about using local contractors just to finish the build out, and when Yassine will answer a text message personally, and Marco and Barry and obviously we miss Donnie, but it's a group of people that you can tell not only care about their customers, but also care about the product that they put out each and every day.
Yeah, that's very well said. Yeah, I'm glad all the owners there. They do a great job for sure.
So do you have an NFR memory that kind of sticks out to you? I mean, obviously you talked about the first time you walked into the Thomas and Mack, but I mean, growing up as a rodeo fan, there's 3 or 4 moments that kind of stick out to me. So is there one that you kind of have saved in your hard drive?
Well, I would say when we sponsored the Wright brothers, the first year, and I think there were five of them that made NFR and Saddle Bronc. Having them and their family and the mom and dad and all the young kids staying with us, that's when for me it really hit home. We went to their hometown in Utah. I took a whole crew out there to, kind of announce the partnership. And, I'd never been to their hometown in Utah before. I don't think a lot of people had. It's not easy to get to.
No, it's not.
But when I went out there and I got to see all their houses and we got to hang out together, that was really something that kind of locked in my love of really the Western lifestyle, and they were terrific. And I still have pictures from that day, and then from a few months later when they were staying with us downtown for the first time, of all these little kids running around, and now I get a kick out of it. Well, yeah, now it's Rusty Wright, now it's Ryder Wright.
Right.
Now it's all these little guys, all these little fellas that are 4 years old. Now they're winning gold buckles. So it's pretty cool to see.
No, it's definitely a full circle moment, and it's a great group of people that you were able to partner with, and that legacy continues. But speaking of legacies, you guys have changed the whole aura of downtown Las Vegas. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how you feel you and your team have impacted the downtown Las Vegas area.
Well, I think, maybe when we jumped in 2006, and then, I'd say maybe 2011 when I bought Fitzgerald's and renovated that, turned it into the D. There were a couple of pretty significant moments at that time that maybe as time goes by, people forget about. But I would say the 2 biggest things that happened at that time was there was a city hall, an old city hall in downtown Vegas, and they struck a deal to move to a new city hall right on Main Street, just probably 4 blocks south of Circa and the Golden Gate, right on Main Street. So when that happened, that opened up the old city hall to kind of a younger company, not really a startup, but they kind of acted like a startup, called Zappos. The guy that founded Zappos, his name was Tony Shea, and they moved their headquarters to downtown Vegas. And when they did, they brought 1,000 people with them, and then Tony had sold a chunk of it to Amazon. So he had a lot of money, and he developed this area called Fremont East, and funded a lot of startups. He probably funded over 100 different startups, and he wooed people from really all over the country. And that was really a fun time. So I think the combination of us buying Fitzgerald's and turning into the D, the new city hall, Tony Shea starting up 100 small startups on Fremont East, that kind of got the ball rolling. And then Tillman Fertitta built the Rush Tower at the Golden Nugget. Then it led into the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, and then all the other things that are happening. And frankly, it hasn't stopped. When you're up at the rooftop in Circa right now at the Legacy Club, and you look out at downtown Vegas, just a couple weeks ago, there were 7 cranes, all within a mile of projects. And it really is amazing to see, that the inertia, the momentum, and just to be like kind of right in the middle of all this growth. It's kind of amazing. You kind of see it around the country. There's more people moving to a downtown area and downtown Vegas was kind of abandoned for a while. And now seeing all the new money and energy coming into downtown Vegas, it's pretty cool to know you're part of it.
Well, the other thing that I think you take a lot of pride in, and some people don't know about you, but there have been multiple times where I visit your properties and you'll be on the floor. And I know that's probably different from other casino owners, but why do you feel the need to truly visit and be a part of not only your guest experience, but your employee experience as well?
Well, I mean, I think, running a business, my office is above the casino, and running a business, it's all the same things. It's accounts payable, accounts receivable, marketing, finance, HR, all the regular things you have in running a business. The great thing about running a casino is, at 6 o'clock, you can go home, but you don't have to. I like going down to the casino floor. I like meeting our customers. I like having a couple drinks. I like watching all the games on TV. I mean, I got a number of televisions at my home, but I don't really have as many as I have in my sportsbook here. And I like hanging around watching games with a lot of my buddies and everything like that. So, if we could have 20 people over watching all the games, betting all the games, it's a lot of fun. My wife actually likes coming down too, because this way, if they're not at home, then we don't have to clean up. It's a lot easier to have everybody over at the casino.
That is a perfect way to put it. And listen, we are so excited to be able to visit the properties that you've created and to see your vision come to light, Mr. Stevens. And so we really appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining us today on NFR Extra.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'll tell you what, the fact that this is the anniversary of NFR in Vegas, it's not lost on me. This is my first year as chairman of Las Vegas Events, and to be chairman of Las Vegas Events, which works with PRCA and brings us to Vegas, to be chairman in this special year is really something for me. So I appreciate you putting me on and wanting to spend a little bit of time talking about things. So thank you very much, and I can't wait for this year's NFR.
Yes, sir. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit nfrexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.